Okay, so I just wanted to give like a snapshot of use cases and work in Claude Code. Just nothing prepared, just showing straight up my work right now and how it's working. So today is Sunday, and I started working maybe an hour ago, half an hour ago, and I'm kind of in an extreme implementation mode. I'm consolidating a lot of the stuff that I've done in the past month and making kind of a reboot to clean stuff. You could say I have a lot of experiments with Claude Code, having done different, let's say, agents and workflows and different pipelines to keep track of projects and documents and stuff. And some of those have kind of grown and I haven't maintained them. So I'm going to do a bit of a reboot. So I'm just going to show the sessions I'm working on right now. So first of all, this can be a good session to show. This is when I boot up every morning. I just say, good morning, boot level 5, regular protocol. In this session, by the way, I'm doing kind of a meta. So I'm also, besides that I'm booting up working, I'm also testing the protocol. So I'm having a dialogue in parallel when I run the protocol to let Claude Code explain everything it does, so we can have a conversation also about the boot. So I'm kind of making, you know, um, continuous improvement while I'm working, basically. So I'm testing and improving at the same time. So what Claude Code does, it checks my energy 1 to 5. Sometimes it suggests to me, if I'm on level 3, maybe I should do something more light. I'm mostly putting level 5 because I want to do the hard work. And what it does is it reads a level 1 operational awareness. It reads different files in the root. It reads also I have like action lists, and I'm playing around with this a bit. I have a like command center document, which is my central document for, the checklist for everything I do. That checklist is a bit long. It complains that it cannot read and get it into the context window, so I have to do something about that. But that document basically has like, it's my command center. It's like a reminder about how my operating system works. A log. I'm logging. I'm letting Claude Code log every day what happens and some improvements and stuff for myself in Claude Code. Then I have some private checklists of projects and tasks and stuff, and some company checklists. Basically, just a checklist of all the commitments I have and reminders, so I can like 1 month ahead, basically. Yeah, and I'm going to put some other stuff in here, like target KPIs and some scheduling stuff and different roles and checklists. So this is going to be like an intranet page, basically, for the whole company, basically, so I can kind of have the overview of everything here. So it's more for myself to know stuff. But what Claude Code also does is Claude Code helps me to create a weekly plan. So I have connected Claude Code to my calendar. Uh, and the most important thing here is that I'm doing a top-down planning. This is what I'm implementing. I'm doing a business planning to say how much time do I need to spend on each role, and how do I make a calendar schedule that works, so I can kind of designate different template days. So for example, sales is on Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. Monday is internal day for production of content and methods. Tuesday morning, Thursday morning, and Wednesday are delivery days. That's when I schedule my client meetings or client work. And Fridays is just, it's a internal. Friday afternoon is for weekly reviews, planning, scheduling, because I have to do scheduling and planning for myself, my agent. So I need to put time on that. So basically what Claude Code can do is it can read and write to my calendar based on the schedule. So I have like I have an experiment now where I'm going to schedule 3 months ahead, and then I'm going to track to see how that goes, and I'm going to pilot to do all the roles each day, basically. So, but it also puts in actions every day. So I have some action lists here that both I can work on and Claude Code can work on it. So it doesn't matter if I tick it off, but I can also tell Claude Code to tick things off. So I can basically talk to it as an admin to do stuff here. So it just becomes aware of the weekly plan print. It becomes aware of active actions in various projects. So I have action lists in various projects that I have, and also which projects are active in the project pipeline. Okay, and then it reads role cards. I don't remember which one is for now. The people master is just my log of people, so it knows the connections I have, annual goals and quarterly goals. So it kind of knows my goals for the year and quarter. It helps me to prioritize things. Yeah, it reads the calendar. It reads the agentic structures and the session API protocol. This is the new thing I'm experimenting with, to have the orchestrator role actually have like an API protocol. So when I say I want to work in this role of marketing, it starts that session manually. So it gives me kind of a prompt and it writes a document. So when I start in the new role, it's a kind of a delegation of what to do, and it reports back. So the orchestrator role always are in control of my day, so I don't lose context for the day. It can be aware of what I do, but I switch to different sub roles and I can do parallel sessions basically. It checks the calendar, and then it creates a boot report. So so it says, okay, this is the calendar. Now this is an error. I don't know why, but it sometimes thinks it's yesterday. I'm not sure how it gets the system time. It oftentimes, so I have to correct to say today is Sunday, but it shows me what I had on Saturday, our meeting here with Bruno. It does an action triage from the action list. Are there any urgent stuff this week? Active items, and it lists some important actions and deadlines here that I have based on the calendar and actions. It checks for older items and things to wait on. Yeah, waiting on is also part of the list. It creates an OKR snapshot. This is the goals for the quarter, kind of. So it tells me that your revenue is this, yellow, the operating system works, the funnel, I'm starting off some new funnels, so that's red right now, delivering quality on track. A project overview, which projects are active, my own internal project for my knowledge factory. I created a new project for our work. I have a research agent project and this delivery project here. Okay, it says, yeah, it says I have an open file, AI agentic structure learning. This is the learning project where it checks on, okay, you've studied block 1 to 2, GitHub and reverse engineering. I have to study these other blocks. It has activated the session API protocol, and all sessions will produce a receipt at the end. And then it asks me for I have an SOP library of actions. So I have a daily SOP to start the day, and I can do this in different modes. I can do an express start or a normal start or so on. So what I'm saying is, okay, today is Sunday, so change the date. Energy is 5, and I'm just going to check. If you are aware of the SOP 18 that we're testing. If you read the OS roles folder and the CEO operations, please check if you can find information about the tests we're doing. Because what I want to do is I want to run the meta script for the day and test it out today as normal, so that we run, the start of the day, starting roles, doing roles, ending the day, and the daily review. So that script I want us to do. Just checking if you're doing that script right now or not, because if you are, let's just continue on that. And yes, I have a daily admin to start the day. Actually, that's something we're going to change. We're going to change it in the script. So please read the SOP 18 if we have mentioned another structure for the day. So maybe that's why you're suggesting admin daily. Maybe it's because you don't have the latest. But check on that and make sure that you might as well check for the boot routine. If you're reading SOP 18, because we have said that I will not do the admin daily in the morning. I will do that later in the afternoon. In the morning, we will just schedule the day for roles and stuff. And we will schedule a daily admin at some point in the calendar. So I can start more with deep work. Okay, so I just told it that. Okay, just going to show you while it thinks what other sessions do I have. So for example, I'm doing lots of stuff. I've created like a quarterly plan, a new quarterly plan for myself, like very pragmatic. And I'm in this, I'm actually writing that document in parallel. So that's something that I found can be useful, that we create a document and we kind of switch back and forth. So I tell Claude Code to create me a document. I ask it to plan stuff. It then set, the contents or the parts, and then it interviewed me to fill out the stuff here. So we did the planning process together, basically, focusing down on what, we made an analysis of what products I can produce or not. And we found like the focus here that I told you, Bruno. And then it goes into delivery. It goes into a time budget for roles. We're talking about that, so I can schedule stuff and implement those, and a template schedule for the week. And I created a new KPI scoreboard that I wanted to track. So I want to track my scores for different roles, basically. This is a mess if you're doing this manually. I never got this to work. I only got it to work when I have people assigned to collecting KPIs, like a person collecting all the KPIs and doing the reports, paying someone to do it. That's the only. I've never seen any company, solopreneur, entrepreneur, where the entrepreneur reports on sales figures and stuff. I mean, it doesn't happen. And the reason is that there is no one external responsible for doing it. So if you have someone external doing it and they have the reporting schedule and they are chasing people to get the KPIs in, that's when you get the KPIs in. So I'm thinking the AI can have that role to really like help or remind everyone to track. And I think the tracking has to be done in sessions. So when you do a session and you finish a session, you just tell it, like, I spent now 3 hours doing phone calls, and I did 5 meetings and 10 calls or whatever. So you can log that in some sort of KPI database. So that's the only way I think this could work in a small company. So that's why I'm putting some effort into this simple KPI framework of different KPIs. Okay, so now we're in the phase of gap analysis. I just wanted to do like besides having my own roles and operations, I wanted to do a gap analysis to kind of distribute my own development work just as any project. So I don't kind of get, crisis because I have the CRM system doesn't work or I don't have time to do it. And secondly, I don't have to spend like a weekend doing lots of stuff at the same time. I want this to be kind of a structured order so I can relax and say I'm just following the plan step by step and don't have to worry about the things that are broken, kind of. So that's where we're at. So that's the conversation here. We are talking about here the gap analysis. So basically what I will do now is I have a post-its on the wall with some gaps that I know we should work on, and I will give this to Claude Code, and we will structure it, and we'll create like a work breakdown structure and a Gantt chart, and I will put that in my files. So that's one session. Next session here is it's my pipeline and documents. So I've experimented with different pipelines for different documents, like research pipeline, SOPs, business documents, content, product documents, assets. But that has grown and become really large, a big backlog of methodology documents I have. So it's almost like 100 documents. Some of them I'm using with clients, but I don't need such a big list. So I'm just restarting. So I had a conversation, how do we do this? And we figured out that I just put these pipelines in a backlog and I start fresh. So now it's actually doing this work. It's transferring all the documents to the older pipeline, creating new pipelines. I told it to check on the operating system so that this won't mess things up. But I think we're gonna have the same names for the pipelines. So if I'm referring to any pipelines in any instruction somewhere, it's going to be the same. So we're doing this. It's now changing stuff here based on my instructions. Okay, so third and fourth pipeline here. This is like a pipeline I've been running for a couple of days. So this is where I'm now testing the content pilot. I've created an agent and folders to create like 100 LinkedIn posts based on this process that I have, quite intricate process. So what we've done here is that it created 100 LinkedIn post angles first, 50 to solo consultants and 50 to let's say CEOs, and for my review. So I'll show you here. Okay, here. So this is the one. Okay, so it created angles first. And this is based on a method that I have, like different scripts, recipes, like a detailed persona. Yeah, lots of stuff here, best practices. So then I get angles and I can read the angles. And then after that, I said, okay, let's try and create 100 posts. Then it created 4 sub-agents to do the production, but then it analyzed itself and said, you know, some of these may not have the best context. And I asked why, and it said the sub-agents don't have the context I have. So then we said, okay, let's do a test, because it suggested then to me, what if I create a brief to each agent? And then I said, let's make a ABC test. So we are doing now a ABC test. So we have 100 LinkedIn posts written from 4 sub-agents without a brief. Then I said, create a brief and write the same LinkedIn articles using those agents. And then 3, you write it from this session. So now I basically have 3 posts ABC tested of 100 posts, and I can actually see factually the difference here, and I can kind of see the quality, and I can have a dialogue of comparing the posts, right? So I'm going to do this soon. This one over here is in order for me to do my content process, I needed to create a new story and bio about myself. So I've done that work. I had an agent just go through all my stuff, because I've done this, you know, hero story in different stages, and since I'm iterating on my offers and so on, and doing some AI stuff, I'm kind of updating my hero story and my story and pitch. So this one had worked in parallel with the first one here and created a new hero story, and this one I then inputted into here for the LinkedIn parts. But then I wanted to do some more updates from, you know, the other session I have about quarterly plans. So I did that as well and told it to create the 2.1 version. Then I had an idea to say, okay, maybe we should have like the agents, the CMO marketing probably should have awareness of all the documents that are that they own. So then I just asked it, can you create like a CMO marketing agent and make sure that that agent has access to all the marketing documents, and make sure that this is canonical, and if we change stuff, we have to change stuff in the central repository, etc., etc. So it then analyzed the agents here. It created a content and copy CMO role according to the structure that we told, with a role card, a Claude MD file, role spec, README file, improvements, and what I call a habit pack concept. So that's basically what every human needs to know in order to do a role. So it implemented that. Yeah. So I'm going to check that out too, see how that went. Okay. So this was the Bruno research thing. I've finished this one, and I also said, because yesterday when we did the meeting, there were some actions. So I said to Claude Code, please put the actions, please start a project with Bruno. Write the project specification, because I have a template for that. So every time it creates a project, it creates an action list and a project specification based on the context, like a small, medium, or large project, different scope. And the large project is like a full project specification, everything. And the small one is just more or less a task list with some other stuff. So it created it took the context of the meeting we had 1 hour and the comparison between us and so on, and it created then a project specification suggestion for our project. So which means that when I start working on this together, I now have a folder in the project pipeline. So I have a folder that says Bruno OS with an action list. So I have to put up GitHub. So you have to do GitHub invite David, create repos, MIT license, blah, blah, blah. So it creates this action list here that I can work on. It created a Claude Code, its own like key resources and working principles and so on and so on. What to do when starting this session. So basically, when I say it, read this project, it reads the project specification, the action lists, and it says we have X actions in block Y. Do you want to continue? So it kind of frames me to do actions here. And this is the project specification, the goals, why now, the scope, out of scope, deliverables, work streams, key issues, timeline, check-in schedule, related files, session log. This also means that if I work with clients or if we work together and we have meetings, we can basically have Claude Code in the meeting, taking notes, context-wise updating schedules, plans, and it does a pretty good job. I mean, obviously it doesn't have all the context. It's not the best. I can't sort of delegate all the project management to it, of course, but I get at least 80%. I get like a project manager assistant suggesting to me as a senior, and I can adapt and change stuff and just tell it to change and so on. So it works pretty well, actually. I use it a lot with clients to write documents and create context and so on. So that's that session, and that session is finished now. I also did before, like half an hour ago, I did an end of day. So I have a procedure for end of day. It asks me about the day. We capture any improvement logs. It captures how much time I spent. So I get a log for that. So I can compare, the planned, the scheduled roles and what I had planned. And I can compare to what happened. So I can kind of see the pattern of why I'm doing or not doing what I should. Okay, so yeah. So back to the start. This is now as I said, the start of the day. Okay, we have to change the date. Now it analyzes why. Okay, it's an internal timestamp. Okay, so sometimes I actually don't end the day. I have a session going for 2 days, and maybe it kind of loses a day. Probably my fault then. Okay, so now it found the SOP 18. This is not like the new wrapper for the day. It reads this one and day cycle, and it reads. Now it actually reads this, the tasks. So basically, what I did was I decided to have like a master role, the CEO operations, and then I have an instruction for this SOP 18, and that has subtasks. So it just takes the master day cycle, the daily boot, starting a role, ending a role, daily admin, and end of day. That's kind of my meta for the day. And it just describes how this works. And I just asked it because I asked it, we're not following that SOP, and now it says, okay, improvement log says inbox suite doesn't belong in morning boot. So it found that we already identified this. Okay. And now it suggests an agenda for today. And I usually then, resonate or discuss to say, this is what I want to do. This is the schedule for today, or what do you think? Or how do we do this, or can you create an action list for this thing today, or I'm elaborating. I'm thinking now actually to work more as a systems engineer who does delegates work to coders. So I'm gonna today have a test. Instead of me inventing sessions every day, based on intuition, I'm gonna write down all the big things that are gonna happen in 1 or 2 weeks, my implementation plan for stuff. And I'm gonna write just an Excel sheet to say this is a project or a session or deliverable. This is the definition I've done. This is the reason why. This is the context. I'm just gonna create 10 to 20 tasks, and then I'm going to see if I can give this to the orchestrator to say, I want you to create like 10 session handovers to these 10, and just get going there. And the instructions will often be like, we're going to do this and this. I want you to enter planning mode, and I want you to interview me, and I want you to describe everything you do, and I want this to be interactive. And this is the role you're going to use. So then basically I can start 10 sessions and I can have them ongoing, which means I can just work between the sessions, and I can switch between the sessions, and I can based on the calendar and schedule decide what to do. But if I want to pause a session to tomorrow, I can just have it open, and then I go back, maybe do a session log, because I do a session log to capture what we've done, and that actually creates content every day. So I write LinkedIn posts about each session. So right now I have, and this is a side note, I have about 70 LinkedIn posts, or blog posts, I mean, from the past days. I write several articles per day, so I can publish on Substack and stuff. But now I also have the other LinkedIn posts. So I have now 100 LinkedIn posts potential, and maybe 170 articles. This has been written by me now. It has taken me not so many hours. It takes me like 5-10 minutes to just give the prompt to write the article, and it took me now, I don't know how much time. Maybe an hour to set up the content funnel here, and then testing it an hour. So a couple of hours, 3, 4, 5 hours, and then I can write like 200 content pieces. So that's pretty effective. Okay, so this is just a a view of my sometimes a bit chaotic world. The experience of doing this has been interesting, because at the start I started to do these multi-sessions, and it became very tiring, because I had to kind of control everything. So it was mentally super tiring, but I was just like in the flow of doing stuff, working, all the time. But gradually, every day, I tried to kind of improve, building towards some sort of scalable structure. And now I don't feel it mentally exhausting. I kind of elevated myself to more of an orchestrator myself, delegating stuff. I'm kind of thinking differently. I'm thinking, how can I delegate the task to someone and do my 80/20 work? So my job now is more to orchestrate, from the next level mentally, kind of. So that's a good thing. But the next step here is for me to define the agents. And actually today I defined to say, okay, I would like to have an agent that creates agents. An agent that can create an agent, that can change an agent based on improvement logs that agents has made, or it can review the whole agent structure to see how things fit together. So I can kind of call on this agent anytime I need a new agent. So then I'll have a process, not just taking a vanilla agent from somewhere, but actually interviewing me, making sure that this kind of fits into the role structure for all the roles. That's my kind of architecture there. Interviewing me about the important KPIs and the tasks, stealing from GitHub maybe patterns or blueprints or instructions from other agents, but taking that and adapting it to me, so I don't kind of get the super advanced agent when I need a simple one, and so on. So that's something that I've talked to Claude Code about. We put it on the improvement agenda. And later today, I'm going to do a weekly review. So then in the weekly review, I'm going to decide all the projects to be made in the coming week and the schedule. And I'm also going to take all the improvements ideas I had and see which of these am I going to work on in the OS for the coming week. So yeah, so that's a snapshot of things in my you know, a bit chaotic, but still pretty productive, I would say, work flows here. Yeah, so feel free to give me any feedback, thoughts, questions, ideas, and yeah, so we can talk more about this.